morning, everybody. Welcome to Crystal Coast Unity's virtual sanctuary. We're so delighted to have you all with us today. Every single one of you is a blessing. Seeing old faces and old friends is really a joy. You know, there's something really special about this technological approach to church, you know. We may preserve some of that as time goes on. So let's open with Miss Cindy Johnson and one of our favorite songs. And I'd love for you to sing along, but might as well stay muted because it doesn't sound good when we're all on there together. So stay muted, but sing along in your house. Cindy Johnson, welcome.
Thank you.
Would you join me now in an opening prayer? We welcome each person who has joined us here today. We're so glad you're here. Your presence blesses us all. And we begin our service today knowing that the nature of God is infinite wisdom, infinite love, and infinite life. And we know that God's nature lives in us, expresses through us, and acts as us. It is our highest and best self. This morning we breathe in peace and breathe out peace. We release all confusion, fear, and doubt. We are anchored in divine peace. Every step we take is grounded in faith. Knowing we are one with God, we move through the day and week ahead, confident and filled with the expectation of good. Right here, right now, God's presence and power is healing our minds and bodies, cleansing us and renewing the spirit of life within us. God lives within each of us as health, wholeness, energy, and ease. Spiritual strength is an endless resource within us. In these times of confusion and change, we call forth this strength and stand steady, resolute, and clear-minded. By centering in divine love each day, we become a harmonious presence. We embody this love, and it broadcasts out to everyone we talk with, smile at, pray for, encourage, serve, support, and lift up in any way. May each of us in this moment resolve to remain awake and aware of our oneness with God. May we know without a doubt that we are greater than our fears, our bodies, outside influences, and personal conditions and circumstances. May we go forward into this service this day and this week, empowered to live in a state of peace, faith, wholeness, strength, and harmony with all of life. And may we remember that no matter what happens in the world around us, we are here to bring light. And so it is. Amen. Healing prayer for us this morning. Are you there, Peggy?
Morning, everyone. Yes, I'm here. So, you know, it's really wonderful to hear all the blessings this morning and all the concerns that have been voiced in the prayer requests. And I just want to remind everybody that on our Crystal Coast Unity website, if you do have a prayer request, you can send those prayer requests to myself or to Reverend Catherine or to Reverend Todd. So as we enter into this time of prayer together, let's just hold each and every prayer request that we've heard today, but any other prayer requests that may be held in someone's heart as we enter into time of prayer. Well, let's just take a few moments now and just breathe. Just breathe and relax and prepare. And I invite you now to open your heart and mind. This is a time to come apart for a while to commune with God. And just relax and discover the freshness of this new day. A new day dawns as we awaken to our Christ consciousness. And in this time of new normal, we move through life with ease and grace. Divine love enfolds us, and we are filled with peace. There is a heightened awareness within us as we open our hearts and minds to divine love. Our hearts are filled with gratitude as we become aware of being loved and loving. We appreciate life, and in this appreciation fills our souls. When we are awake and aware of the Christ light within us, and we choose to express the Christ as allow our inner light to shine forth. The light of God surrounds us as we see the Christ in each person. We are guided as we turn within to discern what is ours to do, and we listen to that still small voice of infinite wisdom. Life is active and vital within and around us. As we see new life emerging in nature, we feel the same newness and vitality radiating in each cell of our bodies. We choose healthy, happy life as we allow new habits to replace any that are not in the flow of a balanced, health-filled life. Our minds and hearts are open to boundless goodness of God. We embrace prosperity as we find new ways to live a life of purpose, a life filled from the inside out. God good is our, and with God all things are possible. And as spring injects the world with color and wonder of the nature of glorious renewal, we too awaken to a new day. We open to the awareness of all life and envision world peace. And as we close this time of prayer together, this time is sacred and profound. We have shifted in known and unknown ways, and we allow the goodness we have found to remind us of the wonders of life within and around us. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Peggy. Appreciate it so much. Beautiful. So I'd like you to join with me at home, and let's say together, as we always do, our unity principles, knowing that this is the truth we hold. This is the rock upon which we stand. Let's say this together as though we mean it deep in our hearts. Principle 1, God, absolute good and unconditional love, is the one constant presence and power in our lives and in the world. The gift of this principle is faith. Principle 2, all human beings are made in the image of God, and so our core essence is also goodness and love. The gift of this principle is self-esteem. Principle 3, we create our life experiences through our way of thinking and feeling. Everything we manifest begins with a thought. The gift of this principle is personal power. And principle 4, affirmative prayer and meditation heighten our connection with God-mind and bring forth wisdom, healing, and abundance. The gift of this principle is guidance. And finally, principle 5, knowledge of these principles is not enough. We must put them into practice and live the truth we know. The gift of this principle is integrity. Thank you, guys. So powerful. So, Kay, would you?
Well, thank you. It is release. I release all that does not contribute to my highest good. We could say that together, please. Release. I release all that does not contribute to my highest good, which is kind of hard sometimes. John's gospel tells of Jesus restoring life to his friend Lazarus, who had been dead for 4 days. As Jesus cries, "Lazarus, come out!" his friend emerges from the tomb, burial cloth still covering his face and wrapped around his hands and feet. Jesus said to those who have gathered, "Unbind him and let him go." Even after a spiritual resurrection, I may remain bound like Lazarus by thoughts, ideas, feelings, or habits that keep me from the full experience of freedom. Through my divine power of elimination, I release negative feelings, dissolve error thoughts, and free myself from habits and actions that do not serve my highest good. I am no longer bound. I am free. The dead man came out, his hands and feet bound with strips of cloth, and his face wrapped in a cloth. Jesus said to them, "Unbind him and let him go." John 11:14.
Thank you, Kay. Miss Cindy.
My friends, good morning. Thank you, Cindy. That was beautiful. Take a breath with me, please. We all want to belong. Yes, we have this deep yearning need to feel like we are a part of something greater, something more. And that's what I want to talk about this morning. I want to talk about community. I want us to consider this idea of what community is and how community impacts us as individuals and how community impacts the greater part of society. And it's interesting when you look at community because in so many ways we are conditioned to think that community is about a neighborhood. It's about a geographic region. We all live it. Well, no, we don't. And this is not true anymore because we're live. We're on Facebook and we're actually reaching a much larger community. But Crystal Coast Unity is part of the Crystal Coast community of North Carolina. There are also different types of communities. There are communities that are based on interest, what people share. They're all passionate about the same thing. It is a community of interest. There's also a community of action. People that really want to create change in the world. There's also a community of practice. People that are in the same profession or in the same activities. We also have the community of circumstance. And when we consider the community of circumstance, we can see that right now, more than any time in most of our lives, we have a world community. Because everyone in the world right now is being impacted by this virus that we do not understand. Most of us don't. There's probably, a few much smarter scientists out here in our group that know more than me, but we're a community in the global sense right now when we consider this virus. So I belong to a lot of different communities. I belong to the Crystal Coast Unity family. I'm now a new member of the Crystal Coast community because I now live in Eastern North Carolina. I love living someplace now where people don't tell me I talk funny. I'm also part of the Beaufort community, and it seems like there's an unwritten rule that if you live in Beaufort, you probably have to have a dog because most people I've been meeting around here have dogs. And I had an interesting episode yesterday. Actually, I had a couple, but this particular one, I went to take my new dog Zoomer out. Most of you have seen Zoomer at some point, or you will. Went to take Zoomer on a walk, and we were walking down the street, and right in front of my next door neighbor's patio, someone's dog had done their business, and they had not cleaned it up. And so I pulled out a doggy bag, and I cleaned it up, and I threw it away. Now, there was an internal dialogue that was not very nice, to be honest with you. Wasn't nice at all about the person that did that. And then we continued on our walk, and I passed a gentleman that I have seen about every day for the past 2 months. he's working on a nearby building and he's renovating it. And for the first time, I see that he is with his dog. And we made pleasantries and talked and how you doing? And he walks on by and he gets to the spot and turns around and yells back at me, "Did you clean this up?" And I said, "Yeah, I did." "Well, thanks. I just didn't have a bag. I would never have done that." And so I felt really bad about that internal dialogue because I had called him some very ugly names because I did not know who had done this. And my judgment was very unforgiving in that initial moment. And I had this whole dialogue about how I had to clean up someone else's mess. And so how many times in community do we have to clean up someone else's mess? I mean, I think now this whole global community of a virus that we don't understand, a lot of that is because we're cleaning up a mess because people weren't prepared. But we don't always know how to prepare. And so I want to invite you to hold that compassion as we talk this morning about communities. And always remember that the universe, because we said it in Principle 1 this morning, there's only one presence in the universe, right? That presence is showing up as us right now, but it's also showing up as everyone else. And the universe is showing us back what we need to know, what we need to heal. So when I think about viruses, I need to let you all know that I can't think about our current experience of COVID without thinking about the AIDS epidemic. This week marked the 30th anniversary of one of the largest demonstrations that happened in the United States surrounding the AIDS epidemic. It was an event in Chicago done by ACT UP. ACT UP is the AIDS Coalition to Unleash Power. And ACT UP came out of a group of men and women who were frustrated because the medical community, the insurance community, was not showing up to support their needs. For many of you, this might be new information. If it's not new information for you, share it with people you need that don't know this, because in the early days of the AIDS epidemic, hospitals didn't want to accept people that had AIDS. They didn't have wards to support the people that were showing up with a deadly disease. They certainly didn't have the beds for women that were showing up with AIDS. And an article came out this week, it's titled, "They Were Warriors." And it's published in Chicago's Politics and City Life. It's by Rebecca Mackay. It's an amazing article. And it actually, the cover photo is a photo of a friend of mine. Someone that I know in community with a group of other men who are dedicated to spiritual exploration. And in this article, she interviews 10 different people. And this is what one person said. It was an interview with Roberto Sanabria. "When you're ostracized, finding community is powerful medicine." And when I read that, it moved me. Finding community is powerful medicine. And what I can tell you from just being involved in the periphery of the AIDS epidemic, I was not an activist at that time in my life. It was in my early 20s. I was dealing with internalized homophobia. I was terrified of HIV. So I definitely was terrified of AIDS. And what I know about community, about this idea that finding community is powerful medicine, it's because the men and women that had AIDS were suddenly being supported predominantly by a few nurses who were willing to live outside their comfort zone and show up for people with a really terrible illness, and by a community of lesbians that were showing up to care for people. And understand that in the 80s and in the 90s, you didn't talk about being gay. And if you did, you got ostracized from your family, usually. And if you showed up with AIDS, you were completely disowned. Some people died, and their families didn't even want to come and claim the bodies. We have a lot to learn from those nurses and those women who love women that showed up to support. Because finding community is powerful medicine. Finding community is an elixir, I believe. You know, elixir it's a medieval word, and it talks about magic potions. It talks about alchemy. Elixirs can take base metals and turn them into gold. The magic potions that can awaken the sleeping princess that has been kidnapped by the dragon. Community is an elixir. And I believe that there are three things that we can do in community that provide this magic potion. Three beautiful things. The first that I want you to remember today is value. We can value people. We can value their dreams. And we can do everything that's in our power to help them realize their dreams. Yes? Because to value someone is to embrace them, to support them, to honor their full humanity. Right? Because all of us are fully human in this moment, expressing now. And to behold that humanity, to hold that humanity with compassion, is to honor the healing process, to be present to people. So we can value people, because we know as truth seekers, we know that everything in this physical plane holds dignity. Yes? Nod some heads for me. We know that everything that is in this realm of physical being holds dignity. Even when they leave a mess for us to clean up, right? Everything holds dignity. And so the second things that I think that communities can offer is communities offer hope. I think you feel that at Crystal Coast Unity. I mean, the amazing prayers that we heard this morning, the truth that we share when we talk about releasing and holding the highest good, we offer hope. Because we know that we can overcome every obstacle, every adversity that shows up in this physical world. We know that we can overcome everything, yes, but not by doing things externally. We know that we overcome these things by doing the internal work. Yes, we stay centered on the internal work, and we model that for people, and we share hope We share our faith that things can be different when we are willing to do the work inside. There is power in believing in one another. Hope makes a community strong. And finally, my third point is that we commit in community to holding the high watch. We commit to holding the high watch. You know, we value people in their full humanity. We believe in their power. We give them hope. We share our hope. We share our faith, and we hold the high watch. And what I mean by holding the high watch is we see them as the Christed beings that they are. And see, that's the little bit of the irony that's in this tension of we are fully human and we are all Christed beings showing up right now. Yes? That's the truth of who we all are. And so when we can commit to holding the high watch, we call out for one another to always show up. To always show up as that Christed being, or to remind each other that that's really who we are. Because sometimes when someone leaves a mess for us to clean up, we have this whole internal dialogue of, but they. And that's really the reflection. And I have to look this week at what is the mess that I'm leaving someone else to clean up? What is the mess I'm leaving someone to clean up? So, to hold the high watch. Namaste. The Christ in me beholds the Christ in you. Communities that experience value in their humanity are offered hope and faith in their personal transformation, and they are recognized in their divinity. When those three things happen, healing occurs. That's what happened for these poor people that were dealing with AIDS, who had been abandoned by families, sometimes by friends. People saw their humanity, gave them hope, saw them as Christed beings, and they were able to heal. But let's be clear about what healing is, because healing does not always mean the physical body. Healing is about being able to experience peace, tranquility. Healing is being able to receive the love that is available to us. And when we are not healed, we are unable to feel loved. And so in community, we can do these things so that we can feel the love ourselves and other people can feel our love. And see, that too is the truth of this is that being in community, valuing others, offering hope, holding the high watch, we may feel like we're doing it for them, but we are them. Doing these things for others, the act of service, heals us, allows us to feel the love that is available to us. See, this is the truth. I know that you've heard it before, because we acknowledge what we pray for someone else, we are praying for ourselves. At the spiritual level, at the level of Christ consciousness, there is no other. There is only I am. At the level of Christ consciousness, hold this, at the level of Christ consciousness, the only thing that exists is I am. And it is good. It is good. The truth is that there is only one community, the Christ, expressing as you, Carol, and as you, Cindy, and as you, Paul, and you, Cindy, and you, Patty, and Katie, and Amy, Jean, Janice, Yvonne. You're the Christ. There's only one community, and the world is knowing it more now because we have a shared experience. This shared experience is a wake-up call for us. We are in the community of circumstance. We who are incarnated now in this moment have the opportunity to value, to hope, and to hold the high watch. And we have to keep returning to that. The other story that happened to me yesterday is I was playing with Zoomer in the local park, and it's a fenced-in area, and I have permission from the executive director to play fetch with my dog. A woman comes walking through, and my very young, very excitable dog ran up to greet her. Excuse me. And Zoomer jumped on her. And she, in a very unkind way, decided she should alert me to the fact that there is indeed a leash law. And in that moment, I was not valuing her. I was not holding the high watch for this woman. And so I told a friend, I'm like, I need to go do some prayer work because that really kind of made me angry. And my friend laughed. She had been with me at the time, and she's like, I'm glad you said something. I thought you were going to think I was horrible if I said that. I have my prayer work to do because what I know is that there's still a place in me that is triggered by someone being sanctimonious and condescending and hateful. Now, was that woman sanctimonious? Probably not. Was she hateful? Probably not. But the universe was showing me what I need to heal so that I can show up and be in community with all of you. We return over and over and over again to this place of holding value, of holding hope, and holding the high watch. We're a global community, but we are also the community that we call Crystal Coast Unity. And so why is this important right now? Why is this important for us to even think about? It's because we have this tagline that's up on our website. It's on emails. It shows up everywhere, and it says that we enrich lives and we build dreams. Enriching lives and building dreams requires that we show up over and over and over again with this idea of value, hope, and honoring the Christed beings that we encounter. We know the truth of who we are, and we know the truth of everyone we meet. We know that everyone is divine. And the truth is, there are people of value who hold dignity that are hurting right now. They're hurting right now. If you don't know someone yet that has been impacted by this virus, you will. And they're hurting right now because the rites of passage that we celebrate have evaporated in days. And it's, I told you my friend Bianca did her mother's funeral yesterday. It was 10 people social distancing at a gravesite. She couldn't even hug her brother when their mother died. But it's also rites of passage, like high school seniors don't get to graduate this year. I can't imagine my senior year of high school without my senior musical. We did Little Shop of Horrors, and much of my high school experience is framed by the people that meant the most to me in that production. High school seniors that were planning on running their last season of track and field or playing tennis or whatever their sport was. They don't get to have that awards banquet this year. They don't get to go to the state championships. Parents who have painstakingly worked with their children for the past 13 years to get them to this moment don't get to watch their children walk across a stage and claim a diploma. And that causes grief in the world. And we need to show up and hold space for people that are grieving when someone that they love is lost, or that something that they need, some mark of celebration has been taken from them. So let's, as a community, be aware that everyone we know is going to be impacted in some way, some shape, by this current experience that makes us know we are a global community. And let's confirm that we are going to show up to value everyone we meet, to hold hope, to model faith, and to hold the high watch and know that everyone is a Christed being. Because when we do that, it makes the world a lot easier to change. And that's what we are here to do. Thank you, my friends. Namaste. So now I would like to invite you to center yourself for a moment. Take a deep breath, and if it's comfortable, maybe close your eyes. Maybe plant your feet on the floor. Take a deep breath and relax into this moment. Relax into this moment of now, and allow your consciousness to expand beyond the confines of this beautiful spacesuit you're wearing. Let your consciousness expand so that you might just be the presence of love right now. And as you breathe in the love of the Christ that is breathing you now. And as you exhale, let that love move through you and touch everyone you know. And as you inhale, breathe that love in through yourself and all of them, because we are all one. And as you exhale, let that love reach out and touch everyone. And stay in this space of breathing love for just a moment. knowing that we are all one. We are all the Christ consciousness in this moment of now. Let's just breathe the love now in the silence. And now, when it's comfortable to you, bring your awareness back to this moment, to this space, to this virtual sanctuary. Bring your awareness back now and bring with you the love of this moment. Continue breathing the love that is the truth of who you are. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And Cindy, will you sing us some music as we all come back?
Couldn't help but sing along. So this is the time in the service where we're blessed to consider how we will return the energy that we've received here this morning and how we'll contribute to the spread of this message throughout our communities. Because I know for myself, and I'm pretty darn sure you do too, that this message has changed my life. That there was a time when it literally gave me back my life. So your contributions to Crystal Coast Unity help us now more than ever through all this technology to get this word of life out to people in all the communities we belong to. And I'd also invite you, as part of your giving, to forward those emails that you get containing the links to all the events, online events going on in the virtual sanctuary this week. Don't be shy to invite people in, because I tell you, we need that uplift right now. People are needing what we have to offer. So yeah, this is the time when we get to give back. So let's begin by saying together our offering prayer. I am grateful for the unlimited wellspring of life, substance, and intelligence within me. As I joyfully give way to its flow, I transform my life and co-create a prosperous spiritual community that blesses the world. Thank you all so much. And you see on the screen there the different ways that you can give. You can go onto our website at crystalcoastunity.org and scroll down to the donate button, and that will take you to our PayPal account. Or you can put a check in the mail to Post Office Box 742 in Morehead City, North Carolina. We appreciate all of your gifts of service, time, love, and financial support. And finally, let's say our offering prayer together as we expand and multiply the reach of all these gifts that you give. Say it together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Certainly am grateful.